Welcome to the Complete Creative Podcast for passionate creatives who want to live well, create on purpose, and feel satisfied in every way. Something amazing is happening today. So I wanted to share that because I learned this from my coach, Amber. And on my calendar every morning, I have a little thing in my schedule that says rise and shine. And it has each thing to do. This is my rise and shine protocol. And my number one thing on my calendar is to think something amazing is happening today. And the reason I share that is because for me, I think it's important because I want to be intentional with what I look for in my day, with what I'm watching for. And I want to find something amazing that's happening in my day. So that's how I started. So welcome back. And today I want to talk about the use of a mantra, or I think I titled this, The Words That Shape the Work. Because I think words are powerful. Amber also says, I've gotten so much from Amber lately. She also says, my word is my wand. And I love thinking that because it helps me think about what am I saying out loud? What am I thinking? What are the words that shape my life, that create my own personal experience? I know that a mantra of sorts or a phrase or a sentence can set the tone for a day. Like I call this my morning mantra. It reminds me of who I am and what I am looking for. And also it silences all the other stuff before that part of my brain that wants to bring up all of the junk, all of the, but what if this, but what if this, but what if this? I've assigned my mind to think about something particular or specific before that part of my brain has a chance to wake up and chatter at me. It's so good. I'm laughing because yeah, of course, this is what happens. And why I wanted to record this episode for you is because I think your words matter and why you might want to consider creating one of these if you don't have them, or creating more of them. And I'll tell you what you might create these for in a minute. Let's just specifically talk about a morning mantra. This is like a mind anchor. And if you listened to my last episode, I talked about the reticular activating system, the RAS, which is that part of our brain that is the filter for all that we see in the world. And so when I assign my mind to look for something amazing, then I'm going to find something amazing that happens every day. How awesome is that? That I've already started my day very intentionally looking for some way that there's going to be some success, looking for something awesome that happens. It doesn't even have to be created by me. I just want to see more of it. A morning mantra can help remind you of your identity, of who you are, of who you want to be in the world. What is it that you want to create or be creating? So as a coach, one of the methods or tools I use is this idea of think, feel, do. We think something that causes us to feel a certain way, and then those two things fuel for how we show up in the world. So I like to create things to think on purpose so I can feel a certain way on purpose, and that fuels what I do in the world. It fuels more creativity, more success, more adventure, more fun. So when I think something amazing is happening today, I actually might be creating the something amazing. What it mostly does is it gives me this feeling, this positive feeling this idea that something is about to happen, like I'm on the brink, I'm on the cusp right when I wake up of something amazing and powerful. And actually, that's how I really like to start my day. I like feeling like open my eyes and feeling like I'm on the cusp of something, like on the edge of creating something cool in the world or seeing someone else create something cool in the world. So, I also want to talk about another mantra that I have that I use throughout my day, which is let it be light. I use this many times, like I used it before I started recording, let it be light. And immediately my shoulders sink. I feel more grounded. I feel a lightness about the work that's about to happen or what I'm about to create. It eases some of the stress or tightness or frustration or anxiety that I might have coming into something. And so I use this one a lot before I do photography, before so many things in my day. Let it be light. Before I send emails, I think, let it be light. Sometimes I put it on a sticky note if there's something that I know that I have resistance to, like automatic resistance. You know, those things you have automatic resistance to, mostly because it's come back as resistance again and again and again. When I'm ready to move past that, make a sticky note that says, let it be light. And when I feel my shoulders start to tighten, I can look up at the sticky note and I see it. Let it be light. Like I like the feeling of more peace and ease throughout my day. Not that it has to be all that way, but it's helpful to assign my brain to create the experience that I want. So this is why I think many of us want a mantra. And I know you've heard these positive mantras out there. I don't totally, I like you can adopt them if you want to. My husband and I have a little saying. It's like positive mantras aren't always positive. And the reason why we say that is because if you just adopt one that you think is like pretty and you don't really believe it or believe that it's helpful for you, then it's not really going to work. So that's why I believe in creating mantras or statements. Like I have a lot of personal I am statements that help me. I believe that this is very personal work and that you want to create a mantra to help you on a very personal level because what we create is very personal. And sure, the reason why a lot of these mantras feel good is because a lot of people can use them, but it might not be super helpful for you. Like you go try one. You can look them up online and see what other people have. Maybe you can use this as one of them as a jumping off point to create your own. So now I want to walk you through how to create your own personal mantra. If you want to do this with me in real time, you can, or you can just listen and know that you can come back to this anytime. Okay. So step one is we just take a deep breath because we're about to create. So I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to think now, let it be light. Now, number two is we tune in. So what are you wanting a reminder for? What do you want? What are you working on that is asking you to create words to help it come into being? Is there something creative, like some creative work? Or is there a part of you that maybe needs some attention? And then decide how you want to feel in that moment. So do you want to feel focused? Do you want to feel free, playful, experimental, peaceful? Do you want to feel powerful? I love tapping into powerful. I love that a lot. Do you want to feel like something's easy or have ease while you do it, you could borrow mine. Let it be light. Maybe you want a lightness. Picture yourself in whatever space you'll be in when you want these words. What energy do you want to bring with you? And you can pause and take a minute and write that down. Okay, that will help give you clarity. Okay, step 3 is uncover the noise. So when you think about the thing that you want, the words for, the thing that you want to create, whatever you want to create, because either we're creating a thing, we're creating work, or we're creating an experience. Once you've decided how you want to feel, the energy that you want to bring, what comes up next? What's the thought that gets in the way? Is it like, I don't have time? This isn't going to be good enough? Or this has already been done? For me, I'm going to tell you something that repeatedly comes up is this is going to be hard, or it's probably going to be hard, which is why let it be light has been so helpful for me, because that other part, like once I decide I want to create something, the little chatter is like, yeah, but it's going to be hard. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have some words for that. All right. So once you have how you want to feel, like your intentional experience you want to create, the feeling that you want with it, like that energy, the thing that's going to stop you, the idea or the noise, whatever's going to stop you or get in the way from creating the experience you want, now we're going to flip it. So just like when I said, this is going to be hard, whatever the opposite is, if you're like, I don't have time, you could think like 5 minutes is good enough. Like 5 minutes counts. I could do it for 5 minutes. If the thought that comes to you is like, this isn't going to be good enough, or like it's never good enough, you can turn it into, so what I know about good enough is it's usually some sort of perfection happening there. And you could say done is better than perfect. I like how it feels when something is done more than I like how it feels when it's perfect. Done is better than perfect. We've heard this a lot, like that little phrase. And then once you have this idea, you've uncovered the noise, whatever gets in the way, and you've flipped it. And sometimes this takes some wordsmithing to really find the thing that like hits home, because like easy didn't feel right, but the word light, like the feeling of lightness, hits me deep. Once you have all of that, you can simplify it. You can wordsmith it a little bit. So the 5 minutes counts could be like, I create anyway. It could be like, I trust the process. So often I'm majorly concerned about the how of that something is supposed to get done. That once I think of an idea, that I have to know how I get to the end. And I'm always reminding myself that not knowing the how is part of the process. And I just tell myself to trust. Like I trust in the process. I trust in the unknowing. In fact, I have a former client and her mantra was, in the unknown, everything turns out great. Because they were so afraid of going down this unknown path of, am I going to be able to sell my work? What's the project going to look like at the end? In the unknown, everything turns out great. I actually have used this several times on my own because I'm like, oh yeah, it's unknown and it could be amazing. I caught up with this client a few months ago, and they told me that they actually are no longer afraid of the unknown and look forward to the excitement of the unknown because they know that it turns out great. And so they're like, I can't wait for the greatness that's happening in the unknown. I think it's so cool. So this is what I mean by words matter. or my word is my wand, because when we assign our minds to think these over and over and over again, we retrain our brains. We are more intentional with the experiences that we have. And as a bonus, our creative work is better, because when we come into the work of creating very intentionally, and we've shut out all of the chatter, right? The noise that can happen beforehand. We're coming into the work more peaceful, more ready, more willing, and the work is better. And we feel better while we're creating it at minimum. So I talked about using this mantra in the morning. I just talked about using a mantra before you create. You can do either. I like to also have one that I say during the day or anytime, or have a few that I can pull up when certain times arise, or when I'm about to head into a certain experience. Like if I'm going to have a conversation with one of my sons and it already feels a little like tense, I like lower my shoulders and I just think, I am love. I love him, right? I just think love is all there is. Something about love, because that's the energy that I want to have there. And maybe that's the energy you want to have to your work, is loving it, believing that everything you create is amazing. Doesn't have to be like a masterpiece, each one. So I like the idea of having multiples that we can use, and you may create them over time as you come upon an experience that wants one. And you'll know when that is. Like anytime you're feeling tense or stressed, you may want some intentional words that you can call up to assign your mind to think intentionally. So you can write it and put it on a sticky note. You can whisper it to yourself. I'll like close my eyes for a second and breathe in. I like combining it with some breath work, depending on what it is. Okay, so there's a few other ways I wanted to mention that you can use a mantra of sorts. Okay, so obviously when you wake up, for sure, if you want to. I love that one. Okay, before you start creative session, like I might think something before I'm going into edit photos. If you're a writer, when you sit down at your computer, as you head over the threshold of your studio, or maybe when you sit down to create, whenever you feel it's appropriate, it doesn't have to be actual physical work. It could be like sitting down to journal about something. You may consider using a mantra when you feel resistance. I talked about that, but I wanted to go over some of these very specific ones. When your shoulders feel tight, there's a tightness in your stomach, your head is hurting, your brow is furrowed, any of those things. If you're feeling self-doubt, procrastination, comparison, perfectionism, you may want some words that you can pull up to think on purpose to help reroute yourself. Another way I think that it's really fun is using words as a transition. Once upon a time, my kids went to a Waldorf school, and one thing that I really loved was they didn't really go by the clock. I mean, the teachers kept track, but there was no clock in class or like bells. When it was time for like recess and time for them to clean up, sometimes an instructor would just start singing and the kids would know the cue. How gentle is that? So it can ease a transition instead of like a hard stop from, going into something, or a hard exit. You could have some words that you say, like at the end of your creative practice. Wouldn't it be fun to like thank the studio? I'm going to talk about gratitude in the next episode, which is why I'm thinking about it. Thank your tools. I thank my computer. because I'm a nature photographer and I'll go out into the landscape. Like I remember that I did this last time I was in White Sands. And at the end of my session, I'm on a dune and I'm packing up my tripod. And I just stood there for a minute and like thanked nature for a beautiful experience. So it could be something like that at a transition point. It could be a time when you feel stuck. If you're coming up on some frustration, like agitation, frustration, resistance. If you're just feeling stuck, you could have a phrase that you say to like recenter and remind yourself. That's what I do with Let It Be Light. Do you see how this one applies to so many things? I love it. After a project ends, like you're closing, you like wrote the last sentence of your book. You finished the project. Maybe there's something you want to say then. Or even like when fear comes up, when fear is doing all of the talking, maybe you create your why. Why do you do this work? Why do you create? Why do you make time to do the crazy things that we do? And if you have a phrase that you already love, I would love to hear it. If you create one because of this episode, I would absolutely love to hear it. If one of my phrases speaks to you, let me know. I love that you're here with me. Even though we're not having this face-to-face conversation, I feel like we are having a conversation. So just to finish up, I want to remind you that even though I say my word is my wand, your word is your wand, it's still a practice. It's a practice that feels like magic. Like you create the magic with your words. That's what happens is you are creating it. And all of this is a way to return to who you really are before all of the outside noise or the inner chatter happens. It's a way to be who you really are. So to finish up, I just want to remind you to let it be light in your creating. Let it be light in all you do. And most importantly, please go look for something amazing that's happening today. I feel like this is the amazing thing that happened today. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting your creative work into the world. Now go let it be light. Talk to you next time.